I cut off my wife financially after she lied to reconnect with her ex. Now she is in crisis, as friends who helped hide her affair abandoned her, and even disowned by her family. I am a 34-year-old man. I have been married to my wife Sarah, a 32-year-old woman, for 6 years. In total, we were together for 9. It was not always perfect, but I really thought we had a solid relationship, good communication. We laughed at the same silly things. We binge-watched the same series. I thought we were one of the good ones. A couple of weeks ago, I started noticing small things. Nothing huge or obvious, just subtle details that felt weird. Sarah seemed quieter, as if her usual version was turned down a few notches. She still said good morning and good night to me. She still asked how my day had been, but the energy was not there. It was as if she was on autopilot. She no longer shared her usual stories. Normally, she would come home and tell me about the strange client she had served or something funny that Tina had said at work. Lately, she only said that work was fine. At first, I did not give it much thought. I thought she was tired or stressed about something she had not told me. I also noticed her on her phone a lot more. She did not hide it, but she always had it on her. Before, she would leave it charging on the other side of the room or on the coffee table. Now she kept it on her lap or face down. I did not want to assume anything. We all get hooked on our screens sometimes. The strangest thing was her shower routine. Before, she would arrive, leave her things, throw herself on the sofa, maybe complain about the traffic. Now she went straight to the bathroom. No chat, no kiss, nothing, just a quick hello and straight to the shower. I noticed it enough to think it was weird, but not enough to mention it. One night we were watching something on Netflix, and she was on the phone. She smiled at the screen, almost to herself. I asked her what was funny, and she told me. Tina sent a silly meme. Then she turned her cell phone over. She did not do anything wrong technically, but the vibe had changed. It was as if she were somewhere else mentally, not with me. And although I started to feel like a stranger in my own home, I did not mention it. I convinced myself that it was nothing, work stress perhaps, or that she needed space. Relationships have their ups and downs. I did not think it would happen. I did not want to seem paranoid or needy. But looking back, all those little things added up. The distance, the silence, the unexplained changes. I saw the signs, I felt them, but I ignored them because I did not want to believe what my gut was telling me, and now I wish I had not. A few days after I started noticing that Sarah was no longer her usual self, she came home at the normal time, left the keys in the little dish, hung up her purse, took off her shoes, as always. I was on the sofa watching something I do not even remember, just background noise. She comes over, stands for a second as if she is debating something. Then she sits in front of me and says, "We need to talk." And man, I felt my stomach sink. Have you heard that? Your brain starts to load every possible bad scenario. My first instinct was to think that maybe someone in her family had died, but she did not look sad. She looked focused, as if she had practiced something. She took a long breath and started talking about how she was going through a lot personally, that she was in a weird place in her life. She said she had been thinking about who she was, what she wanted, and that she felt like she was losing herself lately, that she no longer felt like the person she used to be, that she needed to find herself again, that she needed space to grow. She literally used those words, space to grow. It sounded like a line from a podcast or something. She went on talking for about 5 minutes. She said it was not about me, that I was a good husband, that I had not done anything wrong, that she just felt like she needed time to breathe, reflect, reset. The more she talked, the more rehearsed it sounded, like something she had memorized in the car before coming in. She said, "I just think I need to take some time away. Not forever, just for a little while to clear my head." She kept using phrases like personal growth and self-discovery, as if we were in a Netflix documentary about finding inner peace or whatever. I just sat there listening. I did not interrupt her, and honestly I was not surprised. Not because she had mentioned it before, she had not. But I already felt that something was not right, as if this had been building up. It did not feel random, but inevitable. When she finally stopped talking, she looked at me waiting for something. I think she expected me to get upset, to cry or beg her to stay or get angry. And I did none of that. I just nodded and said, "Okay, if that is what you want." She blinked a couple of times, somewhat surprised, and then said, "I knew you would understand." As if she had also planned that phrase. I nodded again. I did not say much more. Not because I did not care, but because I did not know what the hell to say. What do you say to that? Great. Have fun finding yourself. She stayed a few more seconds, as if waiting for me to say something else, but I did not. I leaned over, grabbed the remote, turned up the volume on the TV, and let whatever was on continue. She just got up and went to the bedroom without saying anything else. Later that night, she came out with a small suitcase. I asked her where she was going to stay. She said at Tina's house, her coworker and friend, 31 years old, single, with a tiny apartment downtown. She said it would only be a week or two, maybe 3. I nodded. We hugged. It was not one of those passionate movie hugs. More like a polite goodbye, like when a friend moves and you do not know if you will see them again. And so she left. Suddenly, I was alone. The apartment felt too quiet after she left, as if all the air had been sucked out. I sat for hours that night thinking, not so much about what she said, but about what she did not say. I kept replaying the last few weeks in my head. The distance, the weird routines, her attachment to her phone, the cold tone. It did not add up. The next morning I got up early. Anyway, I barely slept. I made coffee. I sat at the kitchen table as always, but it did not feel normal. Her cup was not there. The space on the counter where she left her keys was. There was no hairbrush in the sink or towel in the bathroom. All those silly little details that showed she was really gone, that it was not just that she was staying at a friend's house for one night. I tried to shake off that weird feeling. I mean, people do take breaks, people do get overwhelmed, but there was something that did not add up, not the fact that she left, but how she left. Calm, prepared, too prepared. That speech did not sound spontaneous. It seemed rehearsed, even rehearsed with someone else. Part of me wanted to snoop, to go through her things, to look at her messages, to look for clues, but I did not. I told myself I was not going to become that guy. Not yet. I wanted to give her the benefit of the doubt, even though my whole being was telling me that something was wrong here. I did not call her. I did not text her. I thought that if she really wanted space, I would give it to her. I was not going to chase her. Not because I did not care, but because I thought that if she needed to find herself, me hovering around would only get in the way. So I stayed with the silence. I lowered my head and tried to maintain my routine. After Sarah gave me her little TED talk about needing space and when to stay with Tina, I thought I would have a few days of silence to reflect, maybe even feel some relief. But that is not what happened. Once the door closed, the place felt weird, like a model apartment where no one really lives. I walked back and forth without being able to concentrate on anything. It was unusually quiet. I kept telling myself that this was not a breakup. She said she just needed space. She did not say we were over. She did not scream. Neither did I. It was not dramatic. It was calm. Too calm. But that did not help. My brain would not let the subject go. I kept thinking about how well prepared her speech was. No hesitation, no doubts, just polished phrases about growth, disconnecting to reconnect, or whatever. I gave it a night. I tried to watch TV, to scroll through Reddit. I even played an old PS2 game I found in the closet just to distract myself. But I ended up looking at the wall more than the screen. Every little noise made me look at the door as if she were going to come back and say she had changed her mind. That did not happen. I thought maybe I was being paranoid, so I called my best friend Mark, 32 years old. Mark is the kind of person who says exactly what he thinks. Zero filter. We have been close since college, and he never sugarcoats anything for me. Sometimes that makes him sound harsh, but he is almost always right. I told him what happened, the talk, the suitcase, that she went to Tina's house, everything. He listened in silence for a while, which is rare for him, and then he said, "She is probably cheating on you." Just like that, bluntly. I told him, "Come on, man." She said she just needs space. She did not accuse me of anything. She did not even seem angry. And he replied, "Exactly. That is why I do not believe it. If she were unhappy with something real, she would have said it. That whole finding herself thing is the most common excuse people use when they already have one foot out the door. She had been planning this." I did not want to believe it, but Mark kept insisting. I never liked Sarah. She always seemed insecure about herself. She needs validation constantly. She needs people to be cheering her on. If she does not get it from you, she is going to look for it elsewhere. That hit me hard. Not because of what he said, but because it matched what I had been repressing in my head for weeks. Her distance, the quick showers, the phone glued to her hand, the fake smiles. I did not say much after that. I just told him we would talk later and hung up. The rest of the day, I could not get the idea out of my head. Maybe Mark was right. Maybe she was not finding herself. Maybe she was just preparing the ground for what was coming or for who was coming. A few days passed. No news from Sarah, no messages, no calls, not even a check-in. If she missed me, she did not show it. I kept myself busy. I went to work. I kept everything to myself. I did not want to look for her and seem needy. I tried to act cold, but inside my head was spinning. And then, at about 2 in the morning on a random Tuesday, my phone started ringing. It was Tina. I do not know about you, but when someone calls you at 2 in the morning, your brain automatically assumes someone died. My heart started racing. I answered instantly thinking something had happened to Sarah. But all I heard was loud music in the background, people talking, laughter, the bass thumping. It sounded like Tina was at a party or in a club. I kept repeating, "Hello, Tina, are you okay? What is wrong?" She did not answer. At first I could hear her voice, but mumbling, slurring her words, as if she were not fully conscious. After 5 attempts, I finally heard her say, "I did not know he was cheating." I sat up abruptly as if I had been slapped. "What?" I asked, and she mumbled it again. "I did not know. I thought he just needed space." I would not have covered for anything. In silence, I waited for her to say something else. Nothing. And then she added, almost inaudibly, "He went back to his ex." I did not know. I thought it was temporary. And she hung up. I was left staring at the screen with my ears ringing. I kept replaying her voice over and over in my head. He went back to his ex. I did not sleep a wink. I just sat in the dark living room trying to make sense of everything. All the strange behavior, everything I had ignored. Now it all fit. I did not cry. I did not even get angry. At first I was frozen. 1 minute I was hurt, the next furious, and then numb again. It was like emotional whiplash. My brain did not know what to feel, but I was clear about one thing. This was not just space. It was betrayal. After that 2 a.m. call with Tina, I spent the night sitting on the sofa. I did not sleep. I barely moved. I just stayed in the dark as if I were loading in real life. I kept repeating what Tina said. She went back to her ex. I did not know. That phrase was spinning in my head like a glitch in the Matrix. Every time I thought maybe I had misheard, the other words filled in the gaps. I thought she just needed space. I would not have covered for her. I had not heard it right. She was drunk. Yes, but sometimes that just means the truth comes out unfiltered. And what she said matched everything my gut had been screaming at me for a long time. I did not call Sarah. I did not text her. I did not even want to hear her voice. Not yet. I needed a moment to process what I was feeling before thinking about what to say. I did not know if I wanted to scream or throw all her things out the window. The next morning I called Mark. No small talk. No, "Hey bro." I just blurted out, "You were right." And he was not even surprised. The first thing he said was, "I told you. She was weird from the start. Now you believe me." I told him what Tina said. Every detail. He hesitated. He went into ruthless mode. "All right, this is what you are going to do. First, change all the passwords, Netflix, Spotify, everything. Do not let her keep enjoying the benefits while she is playing house with her ex. Second, call a lawyer. You are not married to a victim, brother. You are married to a liar. Start protecting what is yours." And honestly, he was right again. I had been sitting there trying to process something that had already happened. She had left me, not with honesty, not with respect. She went crawling back to a guy she had slept with before, and the worst part is that she used the personal growth speech to make it seem noble. I started with the subscriptions. I changed Netflix first, then Hulu, Spotify, even the grocery delivery app we both used. I paid for everything anyway, and she had no right to keep using anything linked to me. Not anymore. It took me about an hour to change everything. Every time I hit save new password, I felt like I was erasing another layer of her. I even changed the Wi-Fi password just in case she tried to come over to talk and steal my signal in the process. Then I started looking for divorce lawyers in my area. I found one with decent reviews. I called and left a message saying I needed help with a clean separation. No kids, no shared property. I just wanted to get out without getting screwed. They said they would call me back in the afternoon. That morning was pure mission mode. I was just doing things because if I stopped, I would start thinking, and that was the last thing I wanted. Around noon, the messages started. Sarah must have noticed something was wrong. The first one was, "Hey, weird question. Is Netflix down? I cannot log in. LOL. Then, Spotify too? Everything is asking me to log back in." I ignored her. 2 hours later, another message. You changed the passwords. I did not respond. Then came the call. I let it ring. She called again. I let it ring again. On the third try I answered. No greeting, no nothing. She blurted out, "What the hell is wrong with you?" I said nothing. "We are not broken up," she shouted. "It is literally just a short break I needed. Do not be childish changing the passwords. Grow up." I remained silent. I let her talk. "You are acting like a child. It is immature. I just needed space. You are being dramatic." I finally spoke, very calmly. "I guess Tina did not tell you." There was a pause. Total silence. "What?" she said in a softer voice. "I guess Tina does not remember calling me. Or maybe you did not tell her the whole story." "What are you talking about?" I did not shout. I did not even raise my voice. I just said, "I know you went back to your ex. I know you lied. You did not need space. You needed to test Plan B. And Tina told me by accident. She screwed up." "Wait. No, that is not. She was drunk. She must have misunderstood me or something." "That is not." I interrupted her. "No. She said you went back to him, that she did not know you were cheating on him." Her words, not mine. Sarah was silent again and finally said, "Okay, I saw him, but it is not what you think. I just needed clarity. I did not sleep with him. It was not like that. I was confused. It was more for closure." Closure. That was her word. As if this were the season finale and she needed to close her character arc. I did not say anything else. I hung up while she was still talking. It did not feel good. It did not feel satisfying. It just felt finished. I stood in the kitchen for about 10 minutes afterwards, staring at the sink. My heart was not racing. I was not shaking. I just felt as if something had detached inside me, as if a cable had been cut and the part of me that still wanted her around had finally shut down. The lawyer called me back around 3 in the afternoon. He sounded quite calm. An older guy, probably in his 60s, straight to the point. I told him the short version. Married 6 years, no kids, no shared property, the house in my name. She left, lied about the reason, and it turns out she went back to an ex. I told him I was not looking to ruin her life. I just wanted to get out of this without losing what was mine. He listened and then said, "Well, honestly, this is one of the simplest cases. If your name is on the mortgage and she is not on the deed, the house is yours. And the cars. Mine is in my name. Hers is a lease she got before we met." Perfect. "Do you share bank accounts?" "Just one joint one to pay bills, but my entire deposit goes to my personal account." He laughed. "Smart man. Okay, we will start with the paperwork. You just need to send me copies of your income statements, the shared bills, and the mortgage details. It should be a clean break." I hung up feeling a strange calm, like the peace that comes when a train finally derails after wobbling for miles. You are still in pieces, but at least you know where you are flying. Right after that call, I went back into all the accounts one more time. I checked everything. I changed every password again for security. Netflix, Spotify, Hulu, Amazon, even the silly supermarket app, everything that had my name and money out. It sounded ridiculous, but the supermarket one hit me differently. She would order absurd things like almond flour and oat milk. Every time I saw the receipt, I would roll my eyes. I do not even know what oat milk is for. That was her thing. Now she can buy her own oat milk. That night she called me again. I ignored her. Then she started sending messages. "Are you really going to do this? You will not even let me explain. This is ridiculous. We were not even separated." I did not answer any of them. Then came the classic. "I thought you were better than this." That one made me laugh. Better than what? Letting you cheat on me and get away with it just because you did not get into his bed the same night? Mark came over that night with takeout, and it felt like he was walking into a crime scene. The first thing he said when he opened the door was, "Wow, you really cut her off at the root." I had to. He nodded, left the food on the counter, and sat down. "Did you call the lawyer?" "Yes. Everything is in motion." He opened his drink and toasted to freedom. I just looked at mine. I was not in the mood to celebrate. Not yet. But I was grateful he came. He had been right about Sarah from the beginning. I never listened to him. He leaned back in his chair with a smug look. You know what is the craziest part? That she really thought she could put the marriage on pause, try out her ex, and come back as if nothing had happened. "Yes," I said, as if it were just a long weekend. "People like her think we will never react. They think we will wait. I am not going to wait." "Good, do not." We did not talk much more about her. We just ate and watched silly videos for a while. It was the first time I had not felt completely miserable since this all started. The next morning, I received an email from the lawyer. The paperwork was already being drafted. I needed to sign a few things, send him my latest pay stubs, and confirm my bank information for the record. I sent him everything in less than an hour. Meanwhile, Sarah had not stopped sending messages. "Can we please talk? Tina told me she called you. She was drunk. She did not know what she was saying." I did not go back to him in that way. It was not romantic. I swear I just needed to talk to someone who knew the old me. She really wrote, "the old me," as if she were the protagonist of a recycled comedy who needed to find her first season version again. Are you throwing away 6 years for a misunderstanding? No, I was not throwing anything away. She did. The moment she left with a suitcase and lies in her pocket, she made her decision. I just had not reacted yet. I finally blocked her, not out of anger, but for sanity. I did not need any more of her desperate messages popping up every 5 minutes like spam. I stared at the lock screen for a minute, then put the phone down and took out the trash. Normal, mundane things, but they felt new, like a beginning. I was not free yet, but I was getting closer. I thought blocking Sarah would give me peace. For a while it did, but peace does not last when someone is panicking and trying to cover their tracks. She did not stop just because I blocked her number. She started sending me emails with subjects like, "Please, do not do this," and "You are being irrational." She even had the nerve to send me a calendar invitation titled, "Let us talk like adults." Yeah, no thanks. By the time the lawyer sent me the complete draft of the divorce papers, I was already mentally exhausted. I reviewed everything carefully. It was a no-fault divorce, but I asked for full control of the house and for her not to touch my personal savings. He said that since she had left voluntarily and had not contributed financially in months, I had a good case. We also documented everything. I gave him a timeline. I told him when she left, when Tina called me. I even saved screenshots of her messages. He told me that technically I did not need all that for a no-fault divorce, but that it would help to avoid problems if she tried to make noise. Then I signed everything, sent the documents, and went to work as if it were a normal Wednesday. She started sending emails, not long paragraphs, but quick phrases one after another. "You are ruining everything. Think about how far we have come. Are you really going to do it? Fine, do whatever you want. You will regret it. Please, just talk to me. Block, block, block." I blocked her on all platforms, email, social media, everything. I did not want her to get creative with fake accounts or calling me from someone else's phone. I told Mark what happened. He laughed like a man who has seen this movie 100 times. She thought she could lie, disappear, try her luck with her ex, and then come back home as if nothing had happened. Exactly. Women like that do not expect consequences. They expect loyalty no matter what. Well, not this time. Mark told me to go out that weekend, that I needed to get out of the house and do something that did not have to do with lawyers, emails, or with erasing a relationship from my memory. I agreed, but on one condition: no talking about Sarah. I was done giving her space in my head. I spent the next few days cleaning the house as if it owed me money. I threw away all her forgotten things, makeup from the bathroom, brushes, her stupid decorative pillows. I put everything in bags and left it in the garage, out of sight. It was no longer my problem. The strangest thing was how quiet the house became. Not just in terms of noise, but mentally. After the call, after blocking her, after everything, there was a stillness. I had not felt it in months. I had not realized how much background tension I had been carrying around because of her energy until she was no longer there. I would be lying if I said I did not feel anything. I felt a lot of anger, above all, and disappointment. But the pain was slowly being replaced by a growing feeling of, I am going to be okay. I was not excited. I was not jumping for joy. I just felt grounded, and that felt better than I expected. I still do not understand how someone just decides to take a turn like that. One day you are married, cooking together, joking about silly shows. The next day she leaves, lying about needing space, turning it into a personal evolution arc and using it as an excuse to reheat leftovers from her past. But at the end of the day, I am not going to chase someone who ran away. If you leave like that, you stay out. The papers arrived 2 weeks after I hung up on Sarah. My lawyer sent me the final version by mail. All I had to do was sign, and it would be over. I stared at the PDF for about 10 minutes before even opening it. It was not hesitation, It was more like wanting to be sure I did not feel anything. And I did not feel it. I clicked the signature box, typed my name, sent. Done. No big emotional moment. No dramatic music. Just a couple of clicks, and the worst chapter of my adult life officially over. The process went easier than I expected. Since Sarah was not on the mortgage and we did not have any shared property beyond an old sofa and kitchen stuff, my lawyer said it was a clean, textbook divorce. He drafted a proposal that basically said, I get the house, my car, my accounts, and she gets nothing. Not out of spite, just for justice. She was not contributing. She left, she lied. She tried to deceive with her break, and then got caught entangled with her ex. She also had a lawyer, or at least someone she consulted with. They tried to fight it at first, saying she should get half of the joint account. But since 90% of that was my income and she had not contributed more than a few dollars in months, it did not work. My lawyer fought back hard. He called it marital parasitism. His words, not mine. Eventually her side gave up. Maybe she realized it was pointless, or maybe she just wanted to get it over with too. I did not care. As long as my things stayed with me, she could leave with whatever she could carry in that little suitcase. We did not even see each other in person. Everything was digital, everything was silent, just cold, clean papers, exactly as it should have been. The following days were strangely calm. I did not feel happy, not a happy movie ending happy. I did not jump out of a plane, or get a tattoo, or hook up with someone to regain my power. I just went back to living. I would get up early, go to work, eat normally, sit on the sofa without waiting for her to come out of the bathroom, take long showers without hearing passive-aggressive comments about the water bill. It was silence, but a good silence. Then she called me again. Well, she tried from a new number. At first I did not recognize it, so I answered. She came in fast, with a cheerful and fake tone. Hey, it is me. I said nothing. I know you blocked me, but I just wanted to say that I have been thinking about everything, and I really think we rushed into the divorce. I think we both made mistakes, and I do not know. Maybe we could see each other. Just talk. Not to fix everything, just to talk. I let her ramble for a minute or two, then I interrupted her. Are you struggling or something? Silence. I repeated. Are you out of money? Long pause. Then she sighed. That fake, sad sigh she used when she wanted something. I am not out of money. It is just that things are tight now. The rent went up. Problems with the car, a lot of things at once. And I thought that since we shared so much, maybe you could help me out a little just this once. I almost laughed. I really almost did. I told her, you want me to give money to the woman who lied to my face, cheated on me, and tried to make me feel guilty for finding out? She started to backpedal again. I did not cheat on you. I told you I never slept with him. I cut her off quickly. It does not matter. You lied. You left. You chose him over me. And now you want money? No. Ask him for it. And I hung up. Then she tried to send me text messages with emotional blackmail like, are you really that cold? Wow. I guess I never really knew you. After everything we went through, are you going to let me struggle alone? I did not respond. I also blocked that new number. I was not playing her game anymore. She could stay in her new reality, the one she built when she packed her little suitcase and left the house, as if she were on some brave journey of self-love or whatever. She thought I would be waiting for her. She thought I would still be the same guy who used to forgive her every tantrum, every manipulation, every tear. But that guy does not exist anymore. That guy signed the divorce papers. That guy changed the locks, changed the passwords, and changed his mindset completely. Now I am fine. In fact, better than fine. I have my house. I got my sanity back. I went back to the gym. Not for revenge or anything, just because I finally had the energy. I went back to cooking real meals, without almond flour, without oat milk, without silent tension at dinner. Just peace. Mark helped me get her remaining things out of the garage. We donated most of it. Some of it went to the trash. And it felt like they were not hers. And Sarah, the last I heard from someone in common was that the ex she had left with left her. Surprising, right? Apparently, he did not want a relationship, just closure. She tried to move in with a friend, but that fell through too. No one wants to live with someone who lies as a reflex. She keeps calling from unknown numbers. She keeps sending requests on Venmo. She keeps sending emails that end up straight in spam. And I sleep well. Without messages at 2 in the morning, without manipulative speeches, without fake personal growth talks, just silence. And honestly, I have never appreciated silence so much in my life. Update. Well, yes, some time has passed. Things were finally calm until I was reminded that peace, apparently, is a limited time offer when your ex has Wi-Fi, bad ideas, and zero self-awareness. I thought that blocking Sarah was going to be the season finale. Credits, clean exit. But no. It turns out she had a post-credit scene ready. Sarah is in a free fall, and that is being generous. I found out thanks to Mark's girlfriend, her friend's stylist, or something like that. The rumor mill is wild, that she is basically doing a poor me solo tour, with no reservations. And she got kicked out of her friend's house because apparently, even with free rent, she is too exhausting to live with. Now she is just floating around like a lost AirTag in low power mode, doing strangers to get attention. And this is where it gets really stupid. Sarah tried to fake a medical emergency to get my attention. Yes, you read that right. She sent me a message from a new number because I have already blocked more numbers than a switchboard, and that maybe she would not make it. No context, no details. Naturally, I did not respond, but I called Mark just to tell him, hey, if I ever end up in the hospital and it turns out it was a trick to get an ex's attention, unplug me and let me go. It turns out she was not in the emergency room. She was at a Starbucks, seriously, with her green straw in her hand, living her best manipulative life with a $7 matcha and a fake emergency plot. I found out because she uploaded a photo to her private story, which someone in common still follows. Thank God for nosy people. There she was, drinking an iced matcha with the caption, "He is probably thinking about me." I wish I were kidding. Seriously, Mark called it next-level clowning. I call it tragic. I do not hate her. I just do not trust her anymore, and that is enough to keep the door closed. It is like she burned everything down, and now she is surprised that it is cold outside. Trying to use fake emergencies as a weapon is not a cry for help. It is a cry for attention with manipulative potatoes and a frequent customer card. It is one thing to be down. We have all been there. But to pretend you are dying just to maybe get a message back, that is not heartbreak. That is delirium with a Bluetooth speaker without a volume button. So yes, she is in a nosedive, and I am still here living in peace. Quiet mornings, gym, work, food without kale chips, and absolutely no surprise calls at 2 in the morning. She wanted space. Now she has a galaxy. Anyway, I thought I would leave a quick update. I am not looking for sympathy or clicks. I am just saying, when someone leaves with a suitcase and a TED Talk-style speech about finding themselves, take it for what it is. They have already made their decision. Sooner or later there will be others, and things will get dumber. And knowing Sarah, probably yes.